think this is the first time I've done a video about a Chrome extension, but I thought it's perhaps worth pointing out because I really like it. It's based on, when I get to a page of text like this, I really get quite put off. Sometimes I start reading it, I get through a few paragraphs, I think, nah, it's just too much work. And it's rather lazy, but also sometimes I find, I don't know, especially when I've been reading through a few paragraphs, the words seem to start, not that they move, I get impatient and start trying to read too fast, and I miss a word out or something, hang on, that sentence didn't make sense, I go back through and start reading again, and it just gets quite messy, basically. And then I think it was on Twitter, I saw this extension called Reedy. Now, I was aware of kind of speed reading apps on phones. I've not had one on my Android just yet, but I'm aware there are some out there. I suppose probably the best thing is I show it in action first, and then we'll look through the settings. So basically, when you get to a big chunk of text like this, you highlight it. I'm going to use my mouse wheel to scroll down to make sure it's all in. And then, as it said, you can either right-click and select, I think, Launch Reedy, or you can press Alt and S. So in this case, I'll just click here. So click the screen or press the space bar. Now, first of all, I'd point out we've got text sizes at the top here. We've got words per minute. I did have it on 600. I've just dropped it down to 500. It tells me the text I've just highlighted will take 3 minutes and 10 seconds. That's just obviously just the location in the screen. We get a brightness adjustment for daytime and nighttime. And we can have the text behind if we want. I'd rather not. And that would just close it. We have got controls to come back and forth, but let me show you exactly what it is. So, now there's one thing actually I've realised. I'm going to stop that right there, and we're going to go into the settings, because I changed a couple of things just to see what they look like, and I realised that actually I don't like. So, settings, it was this one here, I think, text continuation. So I think that's it. Let's come back and let's play again. So it actually moves at quite a pace, and I find at times I almost don't want to blink because I figure I might miss really important words, and also it won't make much sense, but you can blink and still sort of find your way through. Let's just crank up so I was on 600 before. I don't know about you, I can read that's still readable. So effectively, yeah, it just shows you a word at a time. It puts a highlight on one of the letters. How do we jump a word at a time? Now, I don't know the actual reasoning for what letter it chooses, but I think it's kind of a third of the way into the word. So you focus, you try and look at that letter, and you should be able to read the whole word without having to kind of like scan through the word, I think is the logic. See that? So let's have a look at the settings progress bar. So I don't know if you saw there was a bar that's still going along as it was going through the remaining time. I only just turned that on, so you can tell you see 1 minute 50 left. That comes off by default. Text continuation, so that's one I just went in and turned off because I don't like having that start. I'm looking at this word, but I start noticing what these are, and I'd rather just speed it up a little bit, perhaps, if my mind's wanting to go faster. Let's go back up to the top. Sorry. So auto start, you can have it start straight away. If I press Alt S, it will just start reading straight away. Focus mode, the focus point is shifted close to the beginning of the word. So let's just try turning that off and see what. Okay, in fact, there's no focus point when we turn that off. Well, I like that actually. I want that on. Gradual acceleration, start reading at a lower speed and gradually increase. So it only takes a few words, I think, and then it really gets rolling. You'll notice when there's punctuation like full stops and commas, it does slow down and pause. If it starts a new paragraph or sentence, there's a slowdown and there's a pause. So it's kind of intelligent in that way, which I think is quite cool. Where do we get to? Smart slowing, that was the punctuation bit. Entity analysis, hyphenation, gap between sentences. That's the one we looked through already, and then just some on the actual kind of appearance of it, basically. Shortcut setup, so obviously Alt S, but we can change that. How to use, so there's a bit of an explanation on how it's used. And don't forget to blink, look, that's what I was talking about. I haven't read these actually. This recommendation can be applied not only to reading, you should never let your eye surface get dry. Thank you very much. Ensure you don't have articulation. Involuntary movement of the lips or tongue while reading. Try to be Try to perceive the text by your eyes, not pronouncing it to yourself. That makes sense. I don't think I do that, but anyway. So yeah, I just thought it's kind of handy for if anyone else is like me. You see these big bits of text. Oops, not last pass. Not speed. Oh, got it. And it's just a really good way, I think, of reading through. I wonder how fast I could get. Let's just try cranking it up a bit more, see if it's still. That's actually readable. So let's go back and have. So it was 3 minutes 10 initially, at a pretty fast rate. We're down to 2 minutes. 2 minutes to read that whole thing. But that is readable, I think. Anyway, so there you go. It's called Reedy. It's on the Chrome store. It's made by Oleg Sherlock, if that's any use to you. What's that link to? Oh, his Facebook page. We're not massively interested in that. But as I say, I think there are apps on phones that allow you to do the same sort of thing. Possibly only iOS at the moment, I'm not sure. But there you go, Reedy, Chrome extension. Helps you read these big, dull-looking, long blog posts, basically. Cool.